Hello, I'm Santon Abdo. This is my final project, Conway's Game of Life, for my CS2 class for Professor Barkeshli on December 9th, 2025. The Game of Life, Conway's Game of Life, is a mathematically based game made up of a grid, and the grid in it has alive and dead cells. So the alive and dead cells are usually marked by either being not filled in for dead and filled in for alive. And why does this matter? And what does that actually have to do with the game? So basically, this game iterates and progresses, kind of like life. So um, basically how it works is that the program runs through every single cell of the grid, and for every single cell it sees how many alive neighbors that one cell has, how many neighboring cells are around it. And when this happens, there are a couple of rules that come into play. One, depending on the count, if a dead cell has exactly 3 live neighbors, it comes alive. If an alive cell has 2 to 3 live neighbors, it stays alive. Now, here's where it comes more interesting, is that when an alive cell has 1 or fewer live neighbors, it dies of loneliness. If an alive cell has 4 or more live neighbors, it dies of overcrowding. And this leads to some really cool, interesting patterns that actually come up over and over again when you iterate it, even like completely randomly, which is very interesting. And I also incorporated a round world design, meaning that it's like when you look at a map, it's not flat. Sorry, flat earthers, but it's not flat. It actually loops around. Um, so this is implemented by when I count the neighbors, I actually make an entirely new array that's a little bit bigger on the borders, where I copy all of the edges into it, but flipped. So that allows it so that all the shapes can progress back and forth. So now let's let's get done with the talking and actually show the project off. So this is my implementation. I made it in Visual Studio using SFML for my graphics library. So right now, if we run this, we can see, I hope you like the matrix colorway. Um, we can see that it iterates and you can see some very interesting patterns coming up. It's almost like fireworks going off. So when we actually have a couple of different options to go to. So I can actually pause the game over here. I don't know, crazy. I can clear it with, oh, I paused it with space. I can clear it with the C button. That's what the brackets around the C mean. I can populate it randomly and I can play it again. So once I play it again, and let's just say, I'm going through this and I'm like, wow, that's a nice array. I want to save that, right? I'm just like, chef's kiss. I can save that with the S key and let's say, oh no, I accidentally pressed the spacebar. I lost that array I liked so much. I can actually load that exact same array. And this is done by actually exporting. Once I save it, I export it into a text file, which is stored also in the source folder. And then when I load it, I load that exact same text file, which I think is very cool. Um, so I can also step it manually with E. I ran out of letters. I would have done S, but that was already saved. And you can also see that the generation has been displayed this entire time. And when you clear it, the generation also resets. And this is currently a 90 by 90 grid, but it's not too hard to change that. So let's go into some of the challenges that I faced. So some of the challenges that I faced was mostly to do with the SFML aspect of it. The actual code is pretty straightforward and is mostly just iterating through the grid. Um, The mirroring, the matrix mirroring for the round world design was also a little bit tricky, but once you understand it, it's not too bad. Um, Kind of how SFML works, and the thing that I had to understand about it is that it is a shape manipulation and creation tool, and also you have to handle one person a person like clicks the keyboard, presses a certain key, and these kind of loops that happen. It's definitely very game oriented. Um, but I mean, game of life. Game is in the name, so works pretty well. But yeah, I mean, this was a very fun project, and I think it turned out very well. I hope you appreciated the Minecraft uh typeface. Yeah. And I think that's it. Thank you for watching. I'm Santinabdo again. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you.